limited to 12 minutes. Questions and presentation. 12 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. This, some of this is a little bit, some of these are more important than others. I'm a little troubled by 12 minutes for an audit, but that's, I mean, if that's what the body wants to do, then so be it. Any further discussion? Councilmember Arnold?
You want to make an exception for that one? Mayor, can we make an exception for the audit presentation to
I'll second that.
15?
Yeah.
Can we?
Uh,
15?
We need
It
to have the
probably
discussion.
won't take that long, but just so we can, right.
Can we
Get
motion
the
to,
information.
do I modify the motion that we limit all the workshop items, presentations to 12 minutes?
With
and
the
then-
exception.
With the exception of the audit presentation up to 20 minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That is unanimous. Ready for the audit presentation?
Good evening, Mayor Broom, City Council,
Broom.
City Manager Dr. Adediran. Good evening, my name is David Moore. I'm the audit supervisor from Banks Family White and Company. We're serving as the current external auditor for the City of College Park's 2024 audit. I'm here on behalf of our partner, who unfortunately had another prior engagement and was unable to move some scheduling items around, but I'm here on his behalf to read the formal letter that was sent to mayor and council. And then at the conclusion of the reading of the letter, any questions for me?
So, Mr. Moore, your plan is to read the letter we received today?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear City Manager Adediran, Mayor Broom, and City Council members, as the engagement partner responsible for the City of College Park's fiscal year 2024 audit, as the engagement partner responsible for this audit, I am writing to provide a current status update. This correspondence follows our previous updates and reflects the current state of the engagement as of today. At Banks Finley White and Company, we remain committed to completing a thorough and accurate audit that supports the city's mission of fiscal responsibility and transparency. However, at this stage, we are still waiting several critical documents and reconciliations that are essential for the audit completion. While we acknowledge the Finance Department's continual efforts, the volume and significance of these items require additional coordination and prioritization based on the current pace and outstanding information. We now anticipate completing the audit by May 31st, 2025, provided that all outstanding items are submitted in a timely manner. In the letter to you, Mayor and Council, there's a listing of the outstanding items that are needed to complete the audit. I don't want to waste your time and the council's time for reading all of those itemized items out. I will skip over to the next section of the letter. In addition to the outstanding documentation, we are actively working with the Finance Department to resolve some preliminary findings, which currently include, again, we are still in the process of auditing the city. These are not final findings, but these are preliminary what we have come to at this time. Executive level turnover during the fiscal year, staffing shortages and training gaps, segregation of duties issues, and inconsistencies with internal policy adherence. A more comprehensive listing of audit findings will be included in our final report and presented to City Council upon conclusion of the audit. As previously presented, our firm has extensive experience with major governments across the country. We have earned a strong professional reputation nationwide for quality and reliability in the public sector auditing. Our staff are thoroughly trained in the specific requirements of generally accepted auditing standards, including audit objectives, procedures, and reporting standards. Moreover, our team possesses deep expertise in governmental accounting standard boards pronouncements and their practical application to local government, such as the City of College Park. I would like to take this opportunity to express that BFW is more than a vendor to the city. We are proud to have served the citizens of College Park for over 52 years as a minority-owned certified public accounting firm. We have maintained physical presence in the College Park community since 1984. We support and patronize local businesses, city events, giving back to the community that has supported us for decades. We cherish this opportunity to serve as your external auditor, and we view this engagement as a demonstration of the city's commitment to transparency, quality, and integrity in trusting one of your own to audit your books and records. We appreciate the trust placed in our firm and look forward to continue this important work together. Please do not hesitate to reach out with any questions, updates, or requests for the support addressing in the remaining items. Again, respectively from the resident partner. And at this time, I am the manager who is overseeing the engagement. So if there's any questions that you would like to address to me, I am here to do so. Thank you, and I yield my time back.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Mayor
ma'am.
Pro Tem?
Yes, good evening, and thank
Yes,
you for
ma'am.
coming, and thank you for what you're doing here at the City of College Park. Can you give me an example? In the letter that you sent us, you mentioned
Yes, ma'am.
inconsistencies with internal policy adherence. Can you kind of give us an example of what you're finding, or what the
So,
situation
sure.
is?
So since there's been, as we all know, there's been significant transition and turnover in this department. In the policies and procedures that have been provided to us, there's certain, I would say, steps, protocols, procedures that need to happen. And based on what we've been working through currently, there's no evidence of that has been happening. For instance, there is not a soft close process that's being followed as indicated in the policy and procedure. Your new finance director is, again, trying to help us locate certain analysis and reconciliations that should have been identified and provided. So to the nature of why they haven't been provided, I would have to defer to your current finance director to give further explanation. So that's an example of certain things that we were expecting to see completed that should have been readily available. And since his onboarding, he is still trying to help us find or locate it. So as soon as information is being provided, we're trying our best to turn around and review and provide any follow-up or inquiry to management.
So basically, are you saying that some of these things that we're discussing were available to in the last audit, that you're not saying that you're being given, or I mean, was this the case? I know you've seen our
I don't know what the process or protocol was prior to Banks Finley coming on board. So to give you a clear answer on that, I would have to defer to Mr. Jackson and maybe come to the podium to see what he has discovered since being in the role.
Mr. Jackson, would you help us, please? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And I'm sorry, can you restate your question, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I want to go back to the letter, get my words right. One of the things that I found troubling when I received the letter today, or this weekend, whenever we got it, was inconsistencies with internal policy adherence. And I wanted to kind of get an example of what that might look like or sound like, or what's happening there. Are we not? Do you not have the information that you require in order to, so just let me know. I guess that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand. Yeah.
So right now, as I observe it, the city is lacking standard operating procedures for various tasks. So for example, creating certain or specific reconciliations procedures for those tasks do not exist. And so currently I am seeing scenarios where, for example, the auditor is asking for certain information that the city just does not have or has not done in the past.
Okay.
And I believe that in part that this is due to, one, this is a new auditor to the city. And so, there are some things that I believe that the city at some point will need to adapt and sign on to in order to be in compliance with GASB reporting moving forward. But that's where we are right now.
Okay, so it sounds like some of this are things that we just have not done in the past.
Correct.
And with this new firm, for them to do a transparent, really coherent audit, that they are requiring us to come up to a standard that the city has not operated under in the past.
Correct.
Okay.
And with this audit, we're going to be looking for assistance from them to, give us some guidelines on what they'd like to see from the city moving forward, to give us like a basis of, what we need to do as a city as far as like performing like certain reconciliations and periodic reporting.
Which will help us in the long run.
Yes.
So basically what we're doing is we want to be better than we were before.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Arnold?
Okay, so I'm glad to hear that about the segregation, or, well, not glad, but understanding that that is an area where we can improve. I noticed also in the letter that there was something that with segregation of duties, which is always a concern, but can you give us a little more information on that one as well?
Speak. So as part of the process of having sound standard operational procedures and sound accounting policies, procedure manual in place, in that you would have identified how to segregate the duties, right? So that no one person is either handling more than what they should be doing or handling too much or not enough, right? So that if one day whomever is sitting whatever that role is and they decide that today's my last day, well, with them leaving, there shouldn't be a true vacuum effect, as we call it, where all that historical institutional knowledge is gone. The policy and the procedure is in place so that whomever is brought in to replace them, right, or to fill that gap, there's a policy and a procedure that they can go to say, this is how in which you need to complete this task. This is how we're going to be able to still be able to complete the process so that we can close the books out for a monthly, quarter, or year-end close process. So that's kind of where that segregation of duties comes from. It's not just that, hey, you're worried about this one person doing too much. It's also to identify who should be doing what and when and the how.
And can you say where you may have seen more of this, where there are certain areas where you saw more, where we weren't, or where the segregation of duties were less effective than others? So
if for example, the finance director is gone, so whatever process or policies or procedures that she was following or should be following, the evidence of that information has not been readily available. So that's an example of segregation of duties and making sure that whatever he or she is responsible for doing is documented the way it's supposed to, it's been reviewed where it's supposed to, is in a centralized location where it's supposed to, so that the level of segregation is evident in the process. So that now that it shouldn't matter if Mr. Jackson comes on board or if Banks Finley White has been brought on as the new external auditor, that whatever needs to be provided is readily available. So again, segregation of duties is a peel the onion approach, in my opinion, as to, again, not just the task, but everything that task is associated with that task. Does that make sense, or am I?
It does, but it also sounds like that there may be a gap with succession planning,
Yes.
right? More so than the segregation of duties. It
It's a
sounds
combination of
right,
all, right?
Like we have no bench strength is what I'm hearing from you.
I would defer to.
Well, I would label it as a single point of failure.
I got that too.
So, for example, you have only one person that knows how to pay city bills. If that person leaves, then we have an issue. There's a failure there. We're not able to pay our bills.
Gotcha.
And so we have more of those type of situations. For example, the accounting manager that we have currently, she is doing a lot. She is involved in a lot. And so if she were to leave, that would be an example of a single point of failure.
Councilmember Gay?
Oh, a couple things. We receive, some type of recognition that each fiscal year our accounting was sound, and we got this award. I mean, since I've worked up here. So my question is, how are we able to be recognized as fiscally sound when those standard operating procedures, as you say, may not have existed?
So I believe, Councilman Gay, I think you're referring to the certificate of excellence from the, I can't remember the acronym right now. So as long as your audit, your ACFR is done in accordance with those standards and you have met all the required reporting, documentation, presentation, making sure that you're in accordance and adhering to the GASB standards, you still will get the certificate of excellence because your reporting is in accordance to what the standards say. It doesn't necessarily they don't come in and do a type of audit that we do. Their audit is more, their review is more in line with, are you doing proper financial reporting in accordance with the accounting standards as it relates to governmental entities? So that's the difference. Your external audit is where you'll come out with, these preliminary findings that we're bringing to your attention. That's more of a self-reporting. It's just part of certificate of excellence that all governments like to have because it's part of your self-reporting requirement. So that's why in that you will still get it as long as you meet all the reporting requirements that are required.
So, since we don't have some of the things that you feel that should be in place, I mean, how reasonable are y'all gonna be to let's get our audit completed? Because it sounds like you're not gonna get some things; they don't exist.
Well, that's where I was going to end my spiel, if you will, on my time, is that we're here to be a partner. So whatever roadblocks or problems that we are discovering at this time, we're here to help work with the city to come up with some type of resolution to make it better so that when the next audit cycle happens, there's another check that's been put into play to make sure that regardless who is sitting in chair on either side, that the city's work is still being completed. So right now, we're working with Mr. Jackson and his team, trying to come to some middle ground of resolution so that whatever support documentation that has been provided, one is providing is accurate. Two, we're given the opportunity to really vet it and test it to make sure that whatever is in those reports it's valid and it is in sound accordance with the standards. So that's how we're trying to resolve some of those issues where there isn't a reconciliation or the document hasn't been provided, where we're trying to give Mr. Jackson and his team either examples of or points of clarification on what should be provided so that they can turn around and complete the analysis so that we can come back and audit it.
Thank you. Is Councilman Coleman?
I was gonna go to him next. Councilmember Carn?
I had a couple of questions. First thing, Mayor, I would expect the standard order of discussion with regards to agenda items continue with this meeting. If I have to make that in a motion, so be it. But I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be that standard, but that's what I expect. Unless you have an objection to it, then we can call for a vote on it.
Sir, I'm sorry. What are you trying to say? I'm not clear on what you're saying.
City manager, city attorney, is my audio coming in clearly?
Sir, your audio is coming in clear. I'm not sure I understood what you meant. Could you restate it?
Mayor, the standard order of discussion is 1, 2, 3, and 4, as always. There's no reason why that should change unless, do I need to make a motion for that to continue?
Sir, I would just, in honoring the
I would
fact
like to be
that-
recognized in the
sir,
standard
you
order of
asked- you asked for-
discussion.
You asked the question,
as with
and
the
so I
agenda.
was responding. And so if, I would appreciate it if you didn't cut me off. I was just handling the people in the room. If that's a huge problem for you, we can absolutely go to you next. But please, go
Mayor,
ahead with your
that wouldn't
questioning.
put me next. I would have been second, actually.
I understand,
And I
sir.
want to make sure that that's the standard going forward here.
Sir,
that all right?
Please go ahead and ask your questions.
I did not get an answer to my question. Is the standard order okay with with discussion items going forward?
Sir, we will go in the order as 1, 2, 3, 4 moving forward. Please ask your questions on this matter.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. A couple of things I did have, and thank you for coming for the discussion here. I had inquired several times with the past city manager, Stanley Hawthorne, about my concerns with the reconciliation process and a couple of processes up there that were going on. So I wanted to state for the record, number one, that these issues predate our current city manager, Dr. Adita Daring, number one. Number two, I want to state for the record and for the public that all of these issues additionally predate our new finance director, Mr. Jackson. This is precisely one of the reasons why I insisted that we look at another auditing firm. It was for this very same reason, 16 years of service with the same outfit, and everything was pretty much hunky-dory when I suspected we did have issues and serious issues that were occurring that I was concerned about. These issues around redundancy were another concern I brought up with the former city manager, that we had none up there. So it's important that we're looking at this and that we're addressing this now that we're able to. So I'm looking forward to reading the full report, and we want to make sure we get you every document that we have in our possession. So thank you so much.
Sir, I have some questions.
Yes,
in-
Madam Mayor.
In November, we received a letter from your firm that the agreed-upon deadline for completion was December 31st, and you anticipated, because there were there were open items, that we would not receive the audit until mid-February.
So to respond to that, Madam Mayor, since that time, it was then discovered some of the issues that are laid out in the new letter that we received that are still being worked on or trying to discover where it is, if it exists. So I can't audit what I don't have. And so whatever has been provided to us, we have already started to review and provide follow-up questions. So again, that was the intent, that once we came, it was agreed upon by the previous interim finance director that stated, hey, we will have all of these items by this date, and that didn't happen. And so it was then asked that, hey, we're getting a new finance director in, let him get his settling in, and let's pick up where that person left off at. And so here we are now. I'm trying to work as best we can with Mr. Jackson to now move this audit further along than what it had been. So, that's just where we are. We have weekly status meetings and all of that. So it's just a matter of trying to either find where it exists, or we're giving them guides on how to present it so that we can then audit it. And again, that takes time. So it's not, here you go. They have to go back and do the due diligence and review what has been already in the system, and then turn it back around to us so that we can then go back and validate it. So it takes time. It's not give it to me today and then tomorrow my team and I and say, hey, that's not how that works. We have to have allowed time for his team to pull the support, the journal entries, whatever support that is associated with it. And then there's that conversation of back and forth, right? So it just takes time. And so I don't know how else to put it, but that whatever's been provided, we've either already looked at it, reviewed it, provided inquiry, waiting for follow-up, and then Mr. Jackson and the accounting manager are now trying to help them so that we can get the audit done.
Understood. My concern is that the last correspondence we received from you said mid-February. So why is it 6 weeks later that we're hearing from you again? Why didn't we hear from you in mid-February about some of these concerns? My concern is that we get to May 31st, and then we hear something the first week of June that you still need additional information, and this has to be done. We have issues that will hold up state funding if this does not get done. So how can we, as a body, ensure that we are receiving prompt and timely information from you to ensure that this stays on track and finishes up on May 31st?
Well, now that there's the transition of whomever is sitting in this role as finance director has been settled, the goal is to have more accurate and timely conversation with whomever is running the department. So we are now meeting more than once a week. I meet with Mr. Jackson probably every other day prior to a formal status meeting where the city manager, the county manager, and the finance director is there along with my team, so that we can then have in those discussions, giving him and his team the time that needs to be given to them to try to help resolve whatever inquiry or roadblock that we're assisting. So now that this role is now stable, then there will be more, I would say, up-to-date communication with you all as those charged with governance.
So when can we expect our next communication in regard to this?
I will need to defer and work with the new finance director and city manager once we've taken an inventory of what the new latest round of outstanding items are. And as soon as we have that, we will turn that around as soon as we can. And right now, I can't give you a definitive date, right? So I would say we would need to have another round of status meetings. And at the end of the next status meeting, then we can collectively as a group determine what needs to be communicated to you as those charged with governance.
Or have those status meetings been set at this time?
Yes, they
When
have
is the
been
next
set.
status meeting?
We have our weekly status meetings on Wednesdays at 3:00.
So we should anticipate some level of communication after the next status meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor?
And Mr. Jackson, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You expressed some concerns in regard to how the audit was going. Are you feeling comfortable at this point?
Feeling frustrated at this point simply because the sense of urgency to move this audit along has been an issue for me. One of the things, going back to the single point of failure, for example, the accounting manager, she was carrying the heavy load for the audit for some time, while also doing the check runs and accounts payable process each week. And so we've tried to levy those responsibilities and get me more involved. I've been very hands-on at this point, even working this past Saturday to get some documents over to the auditor. So it's something that I'm taking very, very seriously to move us along and to get us an audit report sooner than later.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Mayor? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I definitely feel your pain because I myself had been trying to get a simple financial report since last year, and it wasn't until Mr. Jackson was here and settled in that I finally got that last week. So I do know that it has been very, very troublesome over the last year to get reporting and the information. And I am very glad that we are moving up to a standard that we may not be accustomed to, but it's going to make us better as a city. My question is, the certificate of excellence, if we are late with the audit, can you still get a certificate of excellence? I've got a couple of questions now.
We over the time limit.
I know. Well, no, we said we were gonna,
No, we passed it.
we said more than 12 minutes for this.
We said
No,
20.
20? Oh, okay.
We passed
All right.
that.
Well, can we just finish this question? then?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
So again, it will require a little bit of research to confirm that. But again, as long as you guys submit the required documentation for the certificate of excellence, that should not stop the city from getting the award. And if you recall, I think it was mentioned previously, last year's audit didn't finish till January of 2024, and I think the year before that it was even later than that one. And I believe in Mr. Jackson's office, the symbol was there for those years that the audit was late. So again, it's more about making sure that the reporting requirements are in accordance with the GASB standards. The main concern I think as far as the timing of that is not so much the issue, is more making sure that reporting is in accordance with what the governmental standards require that the ACFR be in accordance with. I hope that kind of answers
Yeah,
your
yeah,
question.
and just to add on, I'm glad you said that because I was going to state the fact that our audit had been late for the past 2 years, even before I was on this council. And the only reason that we may be in danger of losing state funding at this time is not because this audit may be late, but it's because we had an audit late 2 years prior. So you don't lose state funding over one late audit. You have to have a couple of years of late audits, and then you don't qualify. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Mayor Pro Tem, that's actually incorrect in that because we do not have an audit submitted right now, we cannot receive our state funding. If we submit it, we can get it. But the late audits don't have an impact. It is the fact that we don't have a FY24 audit submitted to the state that we can't get funding right now.
So Mayor, are you saying that when we submitted the 2022 audit in 2024, of January of 2024, that we received state funding that year?
Yes, ma'am.
So then why could we not, if we are not late, if we are not yet late, it's not January of 2026, and if we get this in this year, how would that impede upon our state funding?
Right now, we are ineligible to receive state funding because we have not turned in our audit for FY24.
So how did we receive state funding from the 2022 audit? I'm hearing that the audit did not make it in, not the 2023, the audit, an audit that was for year 2022 did not make it in until 2024.
That's incorrect.
Can you clear, you said what was late, what, was it 2023 that didn't make it until?
Based on the ACFR that is published, the auditor's opinion was dated January of 2024 for FY 2023's, but I don't recall the date of the auditor's opinion for 2022's, but I do know it was beyond the time frame.
Okay, so the audit that we're working on right now
It's
is our
the FY 2024.
2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But we have been late for 2 straight years before now.
Based on what's in the ACFR, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in January. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item 2, presentations, Diamonds in the Making, Workforce and Entrepreneurial Development Academy, presented by Miss Tiffany Nicole and sponsored on behalf of Councilwoman Tracy Arnold.
So, Ms. Tiffany had she had something else that came up. Is it possible that we can hear something else in its place? I have
Do
two.
you want to remove it or you want to just and put it on
I
the
want
next
to punt it
workshop?
to the next meeting.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to number 3.
Item number 3, Comprehensive Plan Update Assistance, presented by Carrie Stevens, Program Manager, Community Development Department, Atlanta Regional Commission.
Would there be an objection from the body to fold into the style mob time into the comp plan discussion? This is going to be a longer one as well.
Excuse, can you say that again?
So Style Mob University had a presentation, excuse me, the second item to talk about, workforce development.
But they're not here.
But she's not here. And so I think that the question is whether or not if the time could be used with the ARC presentation.
Does anyone have a problem with that?
I'm okay with it, except we take out the minutes that this ran over. How long did this one run over, Ms. Clerk? The audit, how long it ran over?
Sir, I would guess, I wasn't keeping track, approximately 5 minutes.
All right. So they got 15 minutes. to
Council,
present.
thank you very much. I'm Brian Hooker,
Did
Economic
you, sir,
Development.
excuse me, you have 15 minutes to present.
Yes, sir, 15 minutes to present. I just wanted to say that in the read-in, I failed to add that this item was sponsored by Councilwoman Tracy Arnold, so I just wanted to add that. I'm here to, with my colleague in planning, to talk about the comprehensive plan, how important it is both to the planning department and to the economic development department. So at you all's request, we've invited Ms. Carrie Stevens from Atlanta Regional Commission to come. Would you, Madam Clerk, pull up her slides? She is here to give you kind of the skinny on what comprehensive planning is and does and what we've done in the past few years as a city, so that you all can weigh in on what we want to do for the next update, because the next update for our comprehensive plan is required in 2026, by October of 2026. And so we don't have any funds for this currently in the requested fiscal 26 budget, and that's one of the reasons that we wanted to bring this up. There is a ARC sponsored option that doesn't cost us anything. We did that last year, and Ms. Stevens is going to explain that, the value of it, and the concerns with doing that multiple years in a row. So with that, Ms. Stevens.
Well, good evening, Mayor, City Council, City staff. Again, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk about comprehensive plans with y'all. My name is, again, Carrie Stevens. I'm a program manager with the Atlanta Regional Commission. I have been with the commission for about 5 years, actually just 5 years at the end of March. So I'm excited to have been with the agency that long. My background is mostly in local government. So I've worked with a number of local governments around the region, and I've also worked in consulting. But at the Atlanta Regional Commission, I've worked on a number of comprehensive plans from around the region, such as Chattahoochee Hills, City of Palmetto, City of Kennesaw, Union City. So I've done them all over the region. So I've had a lot of good experience with comprehensive plans. But as many of you know, the Atlanta Regional Commission is very interested in our vision is making one great region. So we want to be involved with all of our communities, our cities, and our counties. Next slide, please. And I'll condense some of my slides because I know you guys want us to move forward a little bit. So if you want me to move around, just let me know. So I did want to go over, review some of the planning fundamentals with comprehensive plans, understand some of our state requirements that we have, look at some of our plan development approaches at the Atlanta Regional Commission, and talk about best practices. So background and fundamentals, next slide. Why do we plan? We plan for lots of different reasons. We want to make sure that we have a correct community vision. We want to look at our needs and our opportunities, and of course our challenges and our assets. We want to make sure that we're utilizing public funds in the best way that we can, and partnering with our private partners in the best way that we can. And we definitely want to do comprehensive planning because the state says we have to. So we have to do this every 5 years. And this maintains your qualified local government status as an agency. So here are just a laundry list of things that you are eligible for if you have your qualified local government status. Some big ones are downtown revolving loan funds that you can use for your businesses. CDBG funds also tied to this. Historic preservation funds are often tied to this. There's a lot of great programs that you can take advantage of if you keep your qualified local government status, but if you don't, you are no longer eligible for these funds. So next slide, please. So this is kind of gives you the overall picture of local planning. Comprehensive plan being your fundamental document that establishes your foundation and your vision, comes up with your needs, and then one of the really most important parts about your comprehensive plan is your community work program. That takes your needs, your opportunities, and your vision and moves those into an implementation matrix where you decide what your program priorities are and how you'd like to implement your staff time and your funding, and it establishes where you can utilize different programs and when you can get technical assistance from other agencies. We also have special studies, and oftentimes your community work program will identify special studies to implement your programs and priorities. Development regulations, many times during your comprehensive planning process, you look at your land use map, it no longer works for your community. You define your land uses all over your community and then determine that you might need to change your zoning. So that would become one of your priority projects moving forward over the 5-year time frame. And then investment tools, we look at ARC, and consultants also look at identifying funds, whether it be through SPLOST, grants, anywhere we can find additional funds to help the community move forward. The next slide. So state requirements for comp plans. The top row that you can see is required for all communities. That's your vision and goals, your needs and opportunities, your community work program, which I just alluded to, and then identifying what type of broadband resources that you have. Required for some are a capital improvement element, and land use, economic development, transportation, and housing. I don't think that you collect impact fees in the city of College Park, so you're not required to do the CIE, but the others that you are required to do in your plan. So next slide, please. We also at ARC look at a lot of different other options in your comprehensive plan. Target areas, public safety, historic preservation, infrastructure. So not everyone's community plan has all of these optional elements because it doesn't apply, but we'll work with your staff to determine which elements apply and are most effective in your community. So next slide. Elements requiring an update every 5 years. Again, your needs and opportunities, your broadband, your land use, report of accomplishments. What that is it takes your community work program. You look at what you've done over the course of 5 years and determine whether it's been completed, whether it's no longer a priority for you, whether it's underway, or whether you just like to remove it for a variety of reasons. So it gives you kind of just a worksheet to see how you've done over the last 5 years. And then as part of state law, regional commissions, if we are asked to do your comprehensive plan, we are required to assist you with needs and opportunities, broadband, vision and goals, your report of accomplishments, and your community work program. One thing that you notice here that is not required for a regional commission to do is your land use planning. But at ARC, we do assist with land use planning when we do these comp plans. So next slide. So sample ARC approach. You can go to the next slide. So before 2012, there was a whole different set of regulations. And so now we've moved past that. So we help with the required elements. We also give you the opportunity, as I said, to look at that menu of optional elements and assist you with that and give you one single deliverable. So we create the entire plan, which includes the history of your community, some of the priorities, and then all the things that are required by DCA to maintain your qualified local government status. And again, this is a 5-year plan that's required by DCA. So next slide, please. So I'm not going to read all of these different things, but the local community has to have a designee, an appropriate staff member that is designated to assist us moving through the process. You're required to assist us with contacting your community stakeholders and identifying who those stakeholders are, assisting us with engagement activities, and then also providing us a facility that is appropriate for these type of meetings, whether it be a room like this, or it's one of your community rooms, or if it's a facility when you're going to have a special event or something of that nature. So there's a number of things on here as well, but those are the main things that the local community assists with. And then we at ARC are responsible for having, again, a designee from our office. We assist you with legal notices and any other type of notices that you might provide to the public. We help you with your community engagement in that we will create a web page for you. We'll also create flyers if you need those, some other type of collateral. What we do provide at ARC is 2 steering committee meetings, 1 in person and 1 virtual, and then 1 open house or public event. And by that I mean, depending upon what the community would like us to do, sometimes communities respond very well to a meeting that you might have at City Hall or a community center, but some really respond better to a pop-up event where it's more of a festival. So we'll come to the festival and get community engagement like that. But based on our ability to provide services to your community, those are the 3 main events that we do with the city. So if there's additional outreach that the city would like to do, that's something that the city would have to provide by themselves. So next slide, please. So long and the short of the schedule, it's usually between 12 and 14 months. Sometimes communities come to us a little later in the game and we can move it a little bit quicker. But as you can see, we can do the first public hearing, then we usually do a steering committee meeting. That kind of gives the foundation for that particular community. We then usually do our open house, do a second steering committee meeting, and based on all of that input and other input that the city might have given us during that duration, we develop your plan. We have the second public hearing. And then DCA, the Department of Community Affairs, then has 30 days to review that plan and make any comments. And then hopefully comes back with no comments. That's what we always want, but occasionally they do have comments. And then we make those changes if needed, and then it's adopted. It needs to be adopted by the city by October 31st to maintain your qualified local government status. So next slide, please. So best practices. As you can see here, there's a few options for communities. If any community in the region asks ARC as the regional commission to do their plan, we are obligated to do so and happy to do so as well. But I will say that we are not able to provide all of the services that a consulting firm might. They have a much larger team than we do. They can provide a much more robust public participation plan than we can. So we look at all these different things on the list, but we provide the basic required information and services that are required by the state. And then we try to provide some other services, but they are limited for us. So next slide, please. So we usually say if you need a 10-year update, if you've already gone through ARC one time, you may want to think about, and again, it's a complete option for your community, but you may want to think about looking into a consultant or a mixture of a consultant and in-house with your staff to get a little bit more robust of a vision. If you're at the 5-year mark and you don't feel like there's been a lot of changes in your community, or you don't have the funds, then ARC is often a good option. So I can go to the next slide. I think I just went through that. So these are a lot of helpful resources that we have here, just through DCA, local planning requirements, and I can send any of these to you if you're interested in seeing them. But that's basically what it is. And comprehensive planning is such a fundamental document for your community moving forward. That you really have to think what's going to be the best fit. As always, ARC is really excited to work with communities and to help you, but sometimes we aren't able to provide as much service as you might need in your community depending upon where you are in planning. So with that, and I can answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem.
I don't have, thank you so much. It was very thorough, your presentation. I have a question for Brian or Lanice. Okay, so ARC has done a comprehensive plan for us, and the one that we're currently in, I believe, was completed by your organization. And we have a lot of changes in the direction that we are taking this city right now. So kind of asking you now, and I mean, anybody can ask, but I wanted you to come up. What would be the most advantageous for us as a city right now to because I'm hearing what you're saying, and that we would be limited. In order for us really to have a comprehensive plan, what do you suggest is best for us at this time?
You want to go first?
I'll go first. We're at the 10-year update. Our first one Our comprehensive plan was in 2016. We'll do for a brand new one in 2036. But we are at the 10-year spot where have been asked ARC to do it for another 5 years. So things have changed since that the previous update in 2021. I would recommend that we do take a look at our comprehensive plan update and see where we need to add. What's working for us, what's not, what's encouraging development, what's not encouraging development, our housing strategy, our economic development strategy, land use are all tied together. With workforce development and everything. So I would think taking a route that's a little bit more, that can dive a little bit deeper to get into some deeper levels of community engagement would be advantageous for us.
Okay. You want it, Brian?
And I concur. When we started reviewing this and we looked at what the different options are, from an economic development standpoint, many consultants and folks who are looking to locate, one of the things they review is your comprehensive plan to see where you are. So we recommend let's take a harder look at doing a consultant-assisted plan if that can fit within our budgetary needs.
Thank you.
Councilmember Carn?
All right, thank you. Couple of things I will say, and I definitely appreciate the ARC coming in and giving us some guidance and direction on this thing. I think I've gone through 3 comprehensive plans in College Park. And, one of the things I've learned over the years is that if we keep following the same cookie cutter format, it's kind of hard to make some progress. I think that we need to reimagine this comp plan and do things slightly a bit differently here. There are a few things that we overlooked in every comp plan, and those are some of our big deficiencies in the city. One of the reasons I think we're starting to turn a corner is because we're looking at some of the deficiencies. Last year was tremendous in looking at some of the deficiencies. Every single comp plan that we have undertaken have overlooked particular neighborhoods. In theory, if we approach our comp plan from a needs-based improvement hierarchy, meaning we commit to fixing the areas with the most damage and the most neglect, I think that will help in terms of bringing up the entire community and the entire city as a whole. So I'll just cut to the chase here. Every single comp plan that we've had in this city has focused on the same areas in kind of the same direction. It's focused on the same parks, the same green space, the same business areas and neighborhood areas. Main Street, Virginia Avenue, the Woodward Academy corridor, and the hospitality areas. And that's pretty much been it. Every single comp plan. It focused on the same neighborhood homeowners, which is good, and fine, but the only areas the comp plan never focused on or took any significant action on were those most vulnerable areas in College Park. And that's something I think that we need to look at here. Out of the 4 required plan elements that I looked at in your document, nearly no consideration over the years has been given towards these particular corridors. Now, we all know our corridors in our areas. And city manager, I know you know well, police chief knows well, and everyone else that's been in this city for years. The 2 areas of town that have the most blight and the most issues and are most in need of the community improvements are probably the Godby Road Old National area, and secondly, the Camp Creek corridor. I would like some attention in terms of these 2 study areas because these have I guess the quality of life in those areas are a bit lacking compared to the quality of life in other areas throughout the city. So again, we need to focus and refocus and relook at how we're doing things. In terms of the community work program requirements, question, Where is city unemployment most prevalent? Well, you guessed it, within our rental community and within those two corridors. In terms of advertising and how we do this, I do agree we need to look at a consultant to come in and help out. If there's a way we can mix both the ARC's expertise as well as a consultant, I think we need to look at that. We talked about collateral in terms of material and advertising online. That's great. But we need different types of collateral if we're going to get input from the neighborhoods and the areas where if we improve those, the entire city turns around. And I would suggest the different venues. That was a great idea. The festival type community engagement venues, I think, are important and better. I would suggest a community event such as the Kids Fest, for instance. Why? Because most of our rental community, which by the way is 75% of our city population, our rental community has the overwhelming majority of all of our children. Why is that important? Because those events like that bring the parents out that we want to reach out to and get their input in terms of direction. Again, if we start at the bottom, it raises the boats and raises the tide for everybody. You know, we work on our issues in terms of our comp plan from a neighborhood-friendly perspective. I want to look at some needs-based focus, you know, and I think that's going to affect and make the quality of life better for everybody. You know, we have to address the elephants in the room in our comp plan to better this city. You know why residents' insurance rates are higher? Simply because of their zip code in 30337 or 30349? Well, I'll tell you why, but I know Dr. Manuel knows why. I think Mr. Hooker knows why. Because we got to improve some of the core things that we need to look at, and those things need to be included in our comp plan. So I think it's well needed, but I don't think we need to do it the same way we've always done it in the neighborhoods that are doing really great, in the communities and blocks that are well off, and at the places and locations where there are not a whole lot of problems. I think we need to look at it from a different perspective so that we can better the standards in the city overall. Because if we bring down our crime rates, if we work a comp plan based on eliminating our blight and issues, that's going to raise the bar for our school test scores, for our insurance rates, for our reputation regionally, and everything else. So I want us to look at this thing a little bit differently and work from the bottom up on this thing. So that's all I got for now, but I'm looking forward to this comp plan, including and having charrettes in places that we normally would not have, where the need is most prevalent, and we need to hear those issues and things we need to change from the other part of the community. So that's all I'll say on that for now.
Councilmember Arnold?
Thank you. And thank you for coming to present this information to us today. I appreciate it. You mentioned that you've worked with College Park in the past to help with our comp plan, and that there is a cost. I think I heard Mr. Hooker mention that we haven't budgeted for the cost that's involved with developing or updating, and we possibly need to also engage with a consultant to help us through this process. So my question is, what type of cost are we looking at? What's the average?
Thank you, Councilwoman Arnold. We do have the free option available, as you heard. So that is available to us. We have not, in the economic development budget, I don't know if it's anywhere else, placed any funds for a consultant-driven version of the update of the comprehensive plan. I've heard numbers ranging from $150,000 to $400,000 for a well-done consultant-driven plan.
Okay. So it sounds like we probably, since the recommendation, I think that I'm hearing is that we probably want to leverage a consultant, that we probably need to consider budgeting or setting aside some dollars for this exercise.
I couldn't hear what you said. How much did you say?
No, I didn't say how much.
Oh,
I'm just saying that when we go through, that we need a budget. We need to make sure that we have a budget in place to help us through this exercise, since that seems like to be what I think I'm hearing, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Councilmember Gay?
I'm gonna be very brief, but I wanna not caution, but remind my colleagues, we took a motion to be time sensitive. A lot of y'all questions can be sent to them by way of email or pick up the phone and call. Six more items on here that deserve an equal amount of time. Second thing I say is, maybe you should bring this to a workshop. I like to see the current comprehensive plan side by what you're proposing before we get into talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And I want to be clear about what's in our 2021 comprehensive plan. The second goal that we had for our comprehensive plan in 2021 was that College Park will reinvest in its historically underserved and neglected communities, like those along Godby Road and Old National Highway, for equitable redevelopment that benefits legacy residents and business owners. So I don't want everyone to have the impression that we are not talking about the whole of the city when we're doing these comprehensive plans. This has been part of the discussion, and we need, as a governing body and as those who are doing the work on a daily basis, to move forward on the goals that we have stated publicly are the ones that we hold dear and we want to advance. So, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 4, United Action for the Advancement of Humanity, Phase 1 reporting and Phase 2 request of funding presentation. Presenter, Dr. Chusalo. This item is sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Jamel McKenzie.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I want to give you gratitude and thanks for your gift to allowing me to get through Phase 1. And there are several individuals here that's part of the team, stand up, that has helped us not only complete Phase 1 at a minimum charge, but these individuals are going to help take us all the way to a different place that you may not have seen. But I want to thank all of you for your gift to me in believing in this dream I have, this passion. And so without further ado, I want to take you through Phase 1 quickly. Phase 1, you all gave me $30,000 to create human culture and civic programming. And so one of our greatest focus was our Unity Day. And so I want to move further and have you look at the agreement that we signed. And I feel like we did a great job at accomplishing what we agreed to do. And I point out all of the things we accomplished in such a short time and with a minimum amount of money. Currently, up until by the end of this month, we would have spent $39,000. And so we're still moving forward. And we're moving forward into Phase 2. Now, many of you probably didn't see what I was trying to show you. And I was trying to show you something that I didn't really see until it all unfolded. But I knew where I was going. And I want Dr. Von Mulaney to step forward and share what the vision is for College Park.
Thank you, Dr. Chusalo. I just want to follow the council's direction to move forward with accomplishing the goals that's within the comprehensive plan. I want to give some reason as to why Mayor and City Council should support and consider funding the request from United Action for Advancement of Humanity. United Action for the Advancement of Humanity further the accomplishments of the short and long-term goals of the City of College Park while offering green, environmentally friendly solutions. This is done through the Pedicab, the Ambassador Training Program, and now you hear more about the beloved community from Dr. Chusalo. Supporting United Action aligns with College Park's goal, connecting and unifying the historic downtown, the GICC, and the 6 West development. College Park has committed to continuing investing in projects that accomplish this goal, capitalizing on maintaining a city with a small town feel and fun to visit. The pedicab and the ambassador program will help College Park accomplish this goal, offering creative, environmentally friendly, quiet, green transportation. Supporting United Action is the furtherance of College Park's effort and goal to reduce the noise, the carbon footprint, and the negative impact from climate control. All this can be done with the pedicab. Linking the economic, another goal, linking the economic potential from the GICC convention, sports, and expos to downtown businesses, thereby encouraging economic growth in the historic district by linking GICC to downtown through the Camp Creek Bridge. Supporting the pedicab ambassador training program and the community and the beloved community will help College Park accomplish this. And last but not least, getting the city and resident ready for the big stage, for the big platform, for the World Cup. The ambassador program will do an outstanding job of getting our citizens ready so that when our visitors come from around the world, they will have a good, positive experience in College Park. Yes, supporting United Action request for funding is in alignment with the furtherance of College Park goal to create a global, vibrant, environmentally friendly city that's fun to visit. Thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We're in phase 2. We just gave a good picture. I want to tell you just about the beloved community. With Dr. King saw the call, there's 2 calls. The first call is, he said, live out the American creed. The second call was, hey, we got to stop judging by the content or by the color of our skin, but by our content. We are in a position in phase 2 to be the model city to live out the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. And our pedicabs, I want to introduce you to the owners of come on forward right quick. I've been able to build a team with expertise that are going to bring about a city on a hilltop. Go ahead and talk about your pedicab service, please. Share right quick.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Vince Wiley. I'm co-owner of Joyride Pedicabs, and this is my business partner, Mike Schaller. And we operate at the Braves Stadium as the pedicab service there. And Dr. Chisula, I think we met maybe how many years ago?
At least 3.
At least 3 years ago. And I think we've come to the City Council before. But we are just want to help him with his vision to bring the city and the citizens together and be a model for the Atlanta area. And I think the pedicab service is a catalyst, or if you will, to kind of bridge things together, because we're all in this together. You know, whether you're black, white, rich or poor, we're all in it together. And I think the pedicab service can help the United Action Network build on what he's trying to do.
Thank you, Vince. Vince and Mike, they believe in me. They've been doing this pedicab service for over 10 years, all over the country. And they're going to come here and help us provide an exceptional service to not only visitors, but for our citizens. So we have a team now. This is my main brother, and he comes all the way from Beaufort. I tell you, Henry and I, we've been working together, and it's just so we built a very good team to bring a great service to College Park. We will be that model city for the nation. People will come all over the world to College Park. We got a way to do that now. And all we're asking you is for $100,000 for phase 2. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro
Any
Tem?
questions?
Okay, are we combining two agenda items together? Is that what, workshop? Is this, okay, anyway.
Yeah, that's phase one and phase two.
Okay, so, basically, the United Action and the pedicab, so what you're saying is that you believe that, you believe that
That's
this
part of our
pedicab is gonna be
strategy.
part of your strategy?
Strategy, the overall goal is to realize the dream of Dr. King. I'm passionate about the love in his life he gave for us. But we have not answered the call because we didn't know how. So I committed my life, I changed my life to learn what I've learned. And now I'm in a position, we're in a position to share it with all over College Park and to share it with the world, to create what he talked about, a beloved community. Number one, how to live out the American creed. We haven't even talked about how do all of us live out the American creed. How do each one of us pledge that we're going to live out the creed? We need it now more than anything. And then the second, how do we stop judging each other by our color, our skin? We know how to do that. We know how to teach that. We know how to show that. We know how to get that all over the world for unity. That's all we're talking about, unity, the connection. We are all connected from different places to bring about a greater future. And believe it, College Park can be the model city. You believe, you gave me $30,000. Give me $100,000 and you watch what you get.
Okay, Dr. Chisula, what I wanted
Okay, I'm
to,
sorry,
what I was
sorry.
trying to get to is
Okay.
the connection between the pedicabs and your, what is it? When people are riding the pedicabs, you're going to have people talk to them about?
That's right,
Is that
the
what-
ambassadors. They're going to be selling College Park and what College Park is and what it offers, its identity, why it's
Okay,
different,
okay.
why to come here,
You're gonna run out of
why
time,
to
Doc.
visit it, why to spend the money,
Thank you, sir. I didn't want you to run out of time.
why
Doc.
to buy houses.
I know you're passionate, so the question that I have, this program, you're asking, so basically now you're asking for $100,000. Are you expecting the city to continue to fund this program? Is there gonna be any charge that will be given to individuals who ride these pedicabs? What is the sustainability going forward for this program?
And thank you, Mayor Pro
That's all I have.
Pro Tem.
Okay.
All the details are not clear just yet, and I don't want to say something that's not correct right at this moment. The pedicabs, that's our first phase, part of the first phase, getting that on the street. And I relied on Vince on how we're going to do that. And Vince already operates and knows how to make it financially sustainable. So if he could share with you a few moments about how he's doing it at Truett Park.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. Mike and I, as I said before, we operate the pedicab service at the Braves Stadium. And once again, as I said before, we are like a shuttle service. If you've ever been at the Braves Stadium or the Battery, there's a lot of parking on the Battery, but there isn't enough. So a lot of people park at some of the, like the Weather Channel or some of the other participating office buildings, and that's where we go pick them up, and we bring them from the hotels and the other parking lots, and we bring them to the Battery and to the Braves Stadium. And I think what Dr. Trasulo is trying to say is we would implement that, like he said, the ambassadorship program. But it's a little, we might do things a little different here. What we do is the people, they provide a tip. It's a suggestive tip. So when they get on the pedicab, they ask what the price is or whatever, and it's a suggested tip. I don't know if is that what you're asking? Is that part of what you're asking?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And
Dr. Sula, we've got, the time has expired,
Okay.
and I want to make sure if anyone has any pressing questions, they get the opportunity to ask them quickly. Councilmember Carn?
Just a quick comment. I, for one, I want to realize the dream as well, Dr. Jasulu. But I also want to be assured that this provides a good service for all of our residents. So at some point, let's be sure to spell out in detail the direct community services and benefits that your group will be providing for our residents directly. So I'll just leave it at that. And at some point real soon here, I would like to see and experience this pedicab setup that you have out at Truist. So let's set that up so I can see it. And if any of my colleagues want to go out and see it and experience it as well, I think it'd be good to see, get a taste of what we're talking about here. Thank you.
Councilmember Arnold?
My question, I'll just email my question, since we are out of time. I want to respect what we put in place earlier, so I'll email my questions. Okay?
Councilmember Gay?
Same here. I email my questions.
Thank you very much.
To the gentlemen who are from the ATL pedicabs, are you investing in? I'm sorry, I apologize for getting the name wrong. Are you investing in Dr. Chisulo's pedicabs?
Are we investing?
Yes, sir.
No. I mean, as in monetarily?
Yes, sir.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very
you.
much.
There's
And thank you
another,
for the opportunity.
there's another next workshop. There's more than one.
Agenda item 5, pedicab ordinance revision to expand the scope of streets to include the pedestrian bridge, presented by Dr. Chisulo, sponsored on behalf of Mayor Pro Tem Jamel McKenzie.
Thank you once again. I'm so excited. We want to be able to provide this service to the citizen, just like Councilman Carn. And that's going to be our premier service. And it is transporting seniors, individuals with handicaps. We have purchased a limousine pedicab. And that's, and it can 6 people over the, and so if someone has an oxygen bottle, we can transport them. Many people in our community, particularly in Ward 1, they're seniors and can't walk down the pedestrian trail or go over the bridge. And so I thought it would be significant if we first laid out the program for our community and to make it a primary goal to get seniors and others in our community to take advantage of that beautiful bridge and to see. Some of our seniors have never seen the arena and all those beautiful apartments, that beautiful settings over there, and now we can get people over there. And so we would like the approval to provide this service to our citizens. We don't know how, it may be just a suggested tip, but we are committed, and I have a team that will not only train people in our community, but will be in our community to provide the service to our seniors. So we're ready to go. The pedicab is here in College Park, and Bent and Mike, they are ready to provide the service as well as train our pedicab operators. And then Henry and I, we're going to train the ambassadors. So we have a twofold: ambassadors, and then we have pedicab operators. And we're going to bring that together. We're going to have ambassadors, pedicab operators, and we have the team here to bring that to a reality here. And you just don't know how thankful I am to all of you. This is amazing, and I'm so delighted and so happy and excited because we have a great future ahead of us, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Okay, question, Dr. Chisholm. So
Oh, yes.
basically, this workshop item is for us to see the streets. So what you're trying to do now is expand the streets that where the pedicab will go? Is that, Winston?
Well,
we're talking about the resolution right now.
Yeah. When we first brought this to the mayor and council, you all approved the streets on Main, East Main, and some other streets. the bridge wasn't in place. I didn't know anything about the bridge, and I didn't even know anything about the pedestrian trail. So this is going on for 3-4 years now. But anyway, now the pedestrian trail is available, the bridge is available, it's about to open up, and I'm a senior. I would love to go all the way down the pedestrian trail and cross the bridge on the pedicab. Now we're in a position, any senior in our community that want to take advantage of what College Park and their tax dollars paid for, we now can provide it to them. Some of them, some people can't, they don't get out of their house. We now can offer them an opportunity to get out of the house and tour our city. I'm elated to be offered that, but you all made it possible, so I thank you. I couldn't have done it without you.
Okay, so this resolution is to expand the streets. And in terms of the pedicabs themselves, council, will we, in terms of liability insurance, that's something that would be on the city, or is that for these pedicabs?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I have, the program isn't sufficiently fleshed out for me to answer that. I don't know, but obviously, once we get more details, I'll be seeing to the city's liability and exposure.
Okay, so this is just, all we're doing tonight, when we get into regular session, is making a determination whether or not to accept the resolution, or the ordinance. Okay, got it. All right. The ordinance. All right, no questions.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Dr. Chisulo.
Thank you, everyone.
Councilmember Carn, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Councilmember Arnold?
No question.
Councilmember Gay?
No questions.
Agenda item 6, Price Barbershop Historic Preservation presented by Stantec Consulting Services, Inc., requested on behalf of Mayor Pro Tem Jamel McKenzie.
Hello, Council. Thank you for having me today.
Hi.
I am Stephanie Madusky. I am with Stantec Consulting Services. We have been fortunate to be working with the city since 2019 with the EPA Brownfields program. We have helped the city to secure over $1 million in Brownfields funding to help revitalize some of the contaminated properties in the city. These include 6 West, Headwaters Nature Preserve, Main Street and Mercer, as well as now we are doing the first phase 1 for Camp Truett. But I am here to talk to you today specifically about the revitalization and historic preservation of the Price Barbershop property. This property is on the corner of Harvard and Conley, and it consists of 2 buildings, which together create about 3,000 square feet of opportunity to renovate and make it into a community asset. And we have gone out to the community already with the funding from the Brownfields program to talk to the community and understand how they prioritize the Price Barbershop and the adjacent duplex. They were first presented with several options for the revitalization. This included self-guided historic museum, FOA offices, and potential incubator spaces. And we were able to gather from them that they preferred to have a self-guided museum as well as an open community space and FOA offices. So from there, we created 2 different concepts and took it back to the community for them to evaluate and let us know what their preference was. And we were able to make concept plans for how we can revitalize that property. Under the Brownfields program, we were able to conduct a structural assessment and a condition assessment for the property, as well as a phase 1 environmental site assessment. In doing so, we realized that the property is in great need of repair to bring it up to code and to make it safe and watertight before it can be remodeled to be used for the community. It also has asbestos and lead-based paint. So fortunately, those 2 items can be remediated under the Brownfields program, but the remodel would have to be done outside of the program. So our understanding in working with the city staff is that they need some assistance with the next steps, which include, first, a recommendation from us is to hire an architect, because it's going to be really important to get the architectural and engineering design scoped out to really get a true feel for how much the project is going to cost. We do have an estimate of probable cost based on the structural assessment. Again, that's to bring it up to code and to make it safe. And then next, we would recommend procuring a general contractor to start taking care of some of those items. And of course, securing the funding. So we've estimated a probable cost of about $1.16 million to do all of these structural upgrades that would be required, that were shown to be problematic in the structural assessment. And we added a 25% contingency, and we did that because of the state of the economy and not being sure with the tariffs and the supply chain, how prices might go up in the next few years. So we just want to be able to present a realistic picture of what this project is going to cost. Okay, and then you can see here, are you all able to see the slides? Okay. So what you see here is an interior and exterior view of the concept designs that our architectural engineers put together. In the front of the duplex being the larger building, there is a community gathering space. And the Price Barber Shop would be remodeled to be a self-guided historic museum. And the museum would consist of pictures and items from the community that represent College Park from that time and that era and from the various communities in the city. Additionally, the duplex could also house office space for the FOA group, and so that has been designed in as well. And I think you can see that on the next slide. Yes, great, thank you. So in order to do those three next steps, our understanding is that the city staff could use some assistance with procuring an architectural engineer. So we've factored in 3 different tasks into our proposal, and that the first task would be to create bid packages, to help review the bid packages, and to select the contractor. It also includes project oversight as the construction begins and the remediation, and producing grant applications to help fill any funding gaps in the funding stack. So this proposal it's unique. Normally, all of the work that we do falls under the Brownfields program, so it's almost 100% always paid for by the EPA. But in this particular case, this work is not eligible under the Brownfields program, so this would be coming out of the city budget or some other source of funding. So we have scoped this as a time and materials task up to $42,500. We always strive to come in under budget, and we take a lot of pride in our ability to do that. But again, we want to be realistic, and that's what we think is necessary to help move this project fully through the process. Okay, and that's all I have. Can I answer any questions?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you so much for coming out. We've been working on this for a minute. I do know that the community, in terms of the drawings that we were showing in this, that it may look a little different, because I think we want to keep the building looking more like the original building. So that's probably the only change that I can see from this. But the $42,000 is coming from my community enhancement. I've already budgeted $200,000 this year
Okay.
from TPD funds to go towards that part. These from whatever, I don't know, TPD, hotel, motel, Holiday Inn taxes, okay. But the other monies that we're talking about would not be coming from the city's general fund, but those would be coming from our TPD, Tourist Product Development dollars, which allow us to use those type of dollars for a museum, community building of this sort. So I just want to thank you, and anything else I will continue to email you about.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember Carn?
Thanks for the presentation. Great presentation, by the way. This is a very exciting, very long overdue and historic project. I'm looking forward to it. I have no questions.
Councilmember Arnold?
No questions. Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gay?
I just have a couple of comments, and it may turn into a question. The renderings that you presented, this came out of our EPA funds,
Yes, that's correct.
and how much is still available on the EPA side?
Well, we're working on several different projects, so it depends on the direction that we go for the Headwaters Nature Preserve, Camp Truett. So it's difficult to answer that question. We've almost used the entire $300,000 initial grant that it's called a community-wide assessment grant, and that's primarily for environmental site assessments, but we still have a significant amount of funds in the multi-purpose grant, which helps do the environmental assessments, the concept planning, as well as the cleanup and remediation of contamination on a site that the city chooses.
Second question is, since this is not part of the EPA assessment grant, what qualifies you all to oversee this project? Why aren't we just going out to the marketplace and get a project manager? I'm trying to understand why do you get to, not why, but why are you presenting this as a role when this is not Santex?
Yes, that's a fair question. Our team has been involved in these projects for over 10 years now, and we've been involved from the very beginning of the Brownfields program. So that's everything from the very first environmental assessments, the property transfers, the structural assessments, and we have a deep knowledge of each of the project sites. And we have 30,000 employees in our company, and many of them are experts in different fields. So we have market analysts, we have engineers, we have architects, designers, and we have access to all of those people so that we can bring a team together to customize the work that's done for each project and bring a very high level of skill to complete it.
So tonight, we're approving which item for the 42 or the 179? What is on the agenda for tonight?
We have both.
Two amounts.
One is in the consent agenda because that is money that I've already been approved from the 200,000. That's the 42,000. So that's in the consent agenda.
And
I'm just asking.
That's TPD.
It's hotel, motel, car
TPD.
rental taxes money. Yeah, I guess if you want to call it. It's not from the TPD fund that we used for the Camp Truett for the Botanical Garden project. These are funds that I allocated through my community enhancement priorities.
Coming out your community.
Yes, this is coming out of my budget.
Got it.
Okay, the only thing that would, now TPD would be for the funding for the improvements and the restoration of the Price Barbershop and duplex.
And they're being considered as a sole source?
No, we're not paying them. You're not doing the work. They're just giving us the.
Aren't you making
Oh,
proposals
that's
to
a
do
great
something?
question. So we are under a continuing master services agreement because of the Brownfields work. So we just submit a task order and that would go under that MSA, the master services agreement.
So we still would have to bid this out for the work. I mean, you all are not, this is, all, what we're doing is we're looking for the money for the project, but we're not paying you that amount of money.
Correct. We would not be doing the architectural and engineering. We would help you find someone. We recommend preferably someone local would probably be the best way to go. So we would just be helping to bring the right people in to make sure it's a successful project.
So,
If I may.
I just
Mr.
have
Hooker, and then I'll go to
one
Councilmember Arnold.
quick question.
Well, let me, I think Mr. Hooker was trying to
Yes.
supplement.
The 42.5 is the force multiplier. We don't have enough staff in economic development to oversee the process properly. And now that we have a procurement officer on board, there will be less procurement-related activities and more of the evaluation and judging and project management type activities that we'd be relying on this staff for. So that's what that is. I wanted to clarify that.
The 42.
The 42.5,
42.5.
yes.
Councilmember Arnold?
So I just got really confused because our initiatives, our priorities were in general funds. So what is it about TPD?
I only have $100,000 that came from the general, of the $994,000 that I had put into the budget, I only had $112,000 coming from the general fund. Everything else I did was hotel, motel, car rental taxes. So this is coming from my hotel, motel, car rental taxes, not the general fund. I don't have anything, like I said, except for $112,000 coming from general fund.
Okay, so I think I'm confused. I thought when we approved it, it was all under general funds.
You're
When
talking about your community enhancement.
your community enhancements, right?
My community enhancements, 880-something thousand came from hotel, motel, car rental taxes. So it's not from taxpayer property taxes. I only have $112,000 that came from the general fund.
Councilmember Arnold, any other questions?
No.
All right.
I had one more comment, man. When you all did the pure gas station, just for the record, I started that initiative to turn it into a tourist welcome center for College Park, and that initiative got, in my opinion, hijacked by the previous council, and then it went into a private developer's purse. But one thing that was not done was that a private sector took advantage of $1 million of EPA Brownsfield grant to remediate those tanks. It may have been a little bit more than me. My issue is, A, does the EPA grant allow us to let a private sector use it? And I would say yes. But two, in order for that to have been allowed, we were supposed to take the deed from that developer and deed it back when the remediation was finished. So phase 2 of remediation is not finished. So that same developer then went and sold his property to a new investor, having $1 million worth of remediation that we paid for. I just wanted to make it make sense. If we move in with y'all to other projects, how do we safeguard ourselves from those types of issues in the future?
I think bringing in the legal team and just making sure if you are going to do a transfer like that, I'm familiar with what you're talking about, that there is a contract in place about what's going to happen after the remediation has been completed. So I don't know if that was done specifically for the gas station project or why they were able to sell it to another private person, but that is what my recommendation would be for that.
That's all I have.
All right, I do have a couple of questions. So at our last BIDA meeting, Mr. Hooker, the BIDA board voted to accept $200,000 from the city that was allocated from Mayor Pro Tem's community enhancement funds for the renovation of Price Barbershop, the duplex, and the parking lot across the street. Is that different than the money that we're talking about right now?
No, this is the first 42.5 of the 200,000 that'll be spent. And then part of this will be engaging an architect that'll be a couple of tens of thousands, doing the work on the property that'll be tens of thousands. So all of that will add up to the $200,000 that we're looking to get encumbered in fiscal 25.
So why isn't BIDA making this decision instead of the city council? Because BIDA's already agreed to accept this money.
BIDA agreed to permit the city to do this work on its own property. That was in the resolution. BIDA was saying that the city is doing the project. The city is leading this project, this renovation project, and BIDA agreed to allow that to happen on property it owns.
But it also agreed to accept the money, did it not?
The money's not going to BIDA. the money's being spent by the city on these various vendors. So it wasn't an accept the money, it was acknowledging that this money was set aside for this project, and then saying we're allowing the city to do it on our property.
I think the BIDA attorney actually is here. Ms. Wiley, can you clarify? Because I'm a little confused.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I think Mr. Hooker had it correct. The last BIDA board meeting where we discussed this matter, BIDA is the legal owner of the property and was acknowledging receipt of the funds, I believe, so they could be properly encumbered under the city's financial records. And so in that, the city owned it. BIDA owned it. BIDA also allowed the city to grant it access for the city to go in and do the renovations.
Sure,
So
granting access, but BIDA accepted the money, did they not?
we accepted the money for use on the property so that it could be properly encumbered on the city's financial records. And so that's what that was about. That Dr. A may be able to explain more about the encumbrance factor, but I know that the fiscal year end was coming to its close. And I see Mayor Pro Tem is nodding her head. And so we wanted to have something
I understand,
documented.
that's why. I understand exactly what BIDA did while I was in the BIDA meeting.
Yes.
But is it not BIDA's decision to determine how that $200,000 is spent? That's my question.
No.
So BIDA agreed to allow the city to come on to its property, just a formality, since we're all component units with each other. So to do this work, and the city would then, under its economic development director here, would take on the project of doing the renovation. So the money would still stay, it would just be encumbered for the BIDA project, but the city would be leading the actual work.
All right, so BIDA has no say as to how this $200,000 is going to be spent.
I believe that, and Brian, please help me, I believe that there were going to be, since the economic development director is also serving as the executive director for BIDA, that there was going to be conversation throughout this process as to how the property would be updated. So, but having formal say so, I don't believe that that was a part of the resolution, Madam Mayor.
And so, wait, hold on one second. And so is this this $200,000, did it come from hotel motel tax or did it come from car rental?
I can look that up. It's one or the other, but it's definitely eligible for the purpose that we are using it for. That is 100.
Dr. Adediran, can you clarify where it came from?
I mean, I can look it up. He doesn't have it in front of himself.
No, I know $200,000 was part of the community enhancement priorities that was approved for Ward 1. That's part of the almost $1 million that was approved. And I have to get Terry to the account number, see what that is.
Okay. All right.
It's definitely not general fund. It's not property tax money. It's restricted funds that are available for exactly the purpose. And in terms of the situation with BIDA, BIDA has not been involved in the decision-making in terms of the Price Barbershop. That has more so been with economic development and the FOA group. And so I believe that BIDA has not made any attempt or to say that they wanted to handle this development. If they did, they would have that ability. But the resolution that was passed at that last meeting was BIDA's way of saying, okay, we're gonna let you spend $200,000, but we're gonna let you spend it the way you wanna spend it on our property.
That's correct.
For those persons that are trying to understand what's going on.
Let me sum it up as a partnership arrangement.
Right. Yeah, it's a partnership.
I'm a little unclear about the partnership,
Well,
but
meaning-
that's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
If
I'll clear it
everyone
up
else is
Wednesday
clear on
for
it,
you.
that's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we've got 3 more items to go. It is 7:45. How do you wish to proceed? Want to keep on trucking?
I have a a couple of items on workshop that I think should only take about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I think we can knock those two out.
All right. We've got the most presentation by Mr. Lewis. Where is he? There he is. Hi, Mr. Lewis.
Presentation on the municipal option sales tax most for funding improvements to our city infrastructure by using our on-demand contractors, presented by Timothy Lewis, Water and Sewer Superintendent.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mayor and Council. I'm the Water Superintendent.
I'm the Sewer Superintendent.
And we are happy to be here today. So with the most, cool. So with the most money, you can see the agenda. Hold on, let me get my paperwork right. You know, good evening, Mayor and Council. Member, I want to thank you guys so much for having us here today. The most right now, you have about $6,221,651.84. This was approved back in 2022, and thank you, citizens, so much for blessing us with this.
I hear someone's phone. If they could silence it, appreciate it.
And as you can see, as you can see on the screen, you know, the water line that we replaced. The sales tax. It's moving so fast. Wow.
Sir, do you know how to stop that?
Can you stop that?
I'm just asking, do you happen to know?
No,
I'm not
ma'am, 'cause
familiar.
it's leaving
Not
me.
familiar. It keeps fading in and out. I didn't realize that we had that type of presentation, so apologies.
But like I was saying, you know, the most sales tax, you know, it been helping us a lot. We done changed out in Ward 3 some water lines, in Ward 1 water lines, Ward 4 some sewer lines, Ward 3 we done changed out on Hardin Circle, which at one time was galvanized pipe. Hardin Avenue, which was asbestos pipe, we have changed that out to ductile pipe. So the most money, you know, it's helping us and it's leading us in the right direction with our infrastructure. The most was spent on West Fayetteville, replaced the entire sewer line, was 1.1 million.
Next page, page 157.
Yeah.
Page 157.
I'm talking about it moving, man. I'm trying to see where I'm at.
Mr. Lewis,
Mhm.
you know this stuff like the back of your hand. You just want to tell us what you want to tell us?
Okay, so I'm coming here tonight, you know, to just give you guys an update on what we've been spending the most on, and let the citizen know that what we've been spending on. We've been pretty much spending on infrastructure. Probably going to need a little bit more to rehab our lift station. What me and Twan are trying to do, we just trying to get our infrastructure up to par because we're way behind. And thank you if y'all have any questions.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm gonna let them clap first. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for all you do. I just brag all the time about our entire Public Works team. You all are amazing, and yeah, we do have a lot of work yet to do. And it seems the decisions that are being made are wise. And just my thing is, I just wait for recommendations from you all in terms of the areas that we should be focusing on in this upcoming year, and especially with this $6 million. What are the priorities? What do we? Because there's a lot of things throughout this city. So, well, I'm just looking for you all to let us know in the upcoming days what the focus for the priorities should be. So, but thank you so much. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.
Councilmember Carn?
All right, great job, guys. City manager, keep us updated with the projects. I do want to discuss a potential water sewer project with you in Ward 2 as well. But yeah, let's keep going. We've got these funds and we've gotta spend them where they need it the most. So thanks again.
Councilmember Arnold?
Thank you for the presentation and the information on what has been spent and what we have. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gay?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to make a couple comments. For those who don't know, the most tax had to be passed by our legislators. I think it took about almost 4 or 5 years before it got approved. It kept getting not approved. So credit needs to go to the previous mayor and council
Yes.
for their continuous fight for this money. That's number one. Second thing I want to say is how much comes into our fund 20, 25, and 26? And talk a little bit about the lift station.
Well, 25, 26, how much fund will we have?
Do we get every year?
I won't be able to tell you that, council.
I mean, don't this money come every year?
It comes every month.
Every month, yeah.
Is that a
It's an extra
financial
penny.
question?
Yeah, it'll be a finance.
It's an extra penny in the city.
On the lift station, the federal government, we expecting the total project for the lift station right now as we speak and working with EPA is about $3.2 million. And out of the $3.2 million, the federal government will give us about 2.4, and we have to match it by almost
700
and something thousand from this most fund.
So that money from the federal government, is he referring to the most or some new money?
Well, with
was
the
a grant
most,
from-
yeah.
From Congressman Scott, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has that been pulled down yet?
No, we haven't. No, we're still working with EPA, to, things kind of slow down when we had a new president in place. But, the past 2 weeks or so, stuff got rolling back. So we're working on, we've filled out all the necessary papers, done all the literature and everything that has been requested of us. So we're still in the process. But about 700,000 will be coming from the most fund, and the federal government will give us about $2.4 million.
So to answer your question, Councilman, we'll still need we'll still need 2.5 million to complete the lift station.
So you're gonna take it out of the fund
The
balance
most,
that you
yes.
just spoke of, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. And one last final question. In addition to David Scott, didn't we get money from Congresswoman Kima Williams? Didn't we go to some event where she gave us $600,000?
800
It was
for
800.
stormwater.
Is that the money you talking about?
That's for the
Two separate
stormwater.
issues.
Stormwater is
Stormwater.
different from the.
That's stormwater?
Yeah.
Has that been pulled down?
No, ma'am.
Are we gonna get that?
Well, from what EPA said, yes, we will get that.
Okay, that's all I have.
I have a couple of questions. So, Mr. Lewis, you said that we would need how much to complete the lift station outside of the 2.4 that Congressman Scott was able to secure for us?
Well, we'll need an additional 2.5.
So a total of 4.9 million.
Yes. Well, 2.5 and.
Because that 3.2
2.5.
million sounded low to me, I
Yes.
thought, on the lift station, from what I
Yes.
had recalled. Okay.
You're looking at probably about 5 million. So 2.5, and then we give them the 2.5, they're giving you 5.
That $6.2 million number that you indicated, as of what date was that to the most fund? As of what date was that balance?
Maybe last month. So it should be something different now.
How much have we spent overall on most projects?
Give me
And
one.
that's not really a question for you, it's really for Dr. Adediran or Mr. Jackson.
I don't have, it's something I can get for you, but I don't
Okay.
have that, No, I do not have that.
So, I had the opportunity to see your team working on a water main break, and one of the things that we discussed was the fact that a lot of our valves are very old
Yes.
throughout
Yes.
the system, and that complicates your ability to address water main breaks. And I saw your team going from valve to try to shut things off while water is gushing, and I was standing there thinking, wow, that's money lost. That's more money we're gonna pay East Point for that water. So, one of the things that I would love for us to see is a comprehensive overview of our water sewer system and really ranking the needs of the system so we can start ticking off those projects one by one. I think we may need some outside help to make that assessment, because what your teams do on a daily basis, and we see them out in these streets doing the work, is that we're hitting the emergencies that come up. West Fayetteville was an emergency when we found that sewer collapse. We had to deal with that. We had to deal with some of the projects that are coming up on our agenda for the regular session. That these are things that have to be done, and they are being funded with most funds. But a lot of times, people don't recognize that these are their tax dollars at work. So if we can come up with a way to get an assessment and actually plan out some of these projects so people can see them coming to fruition, I think it will not only help for your goals of infrastructure improvement overall, but just general awareness about how this money is being used and the good work that we're doing in the community. So can we get that on the agenda? Can we get a procurement, an RFP out so we can get an assessment of the system overall? I think we can pay for that with most funds, can we not?
I have to check now. I have to check.
Okay.
Because there are some things the most can, we can use it, and some things we cannot.
Right,
Even
I
those
understand.
Water and sewer.
Sewer. But if we do an assessment of the entire system, so we can actually tackle these projects, I think it's going to pay off for the entire community, as opposed to just hitting those emergencies when they come. But appreciate the work that y'all do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Agenda item 8, update payments for the Keep College Park Beautiful appointees from the Finance Director Terry Jackson, requested on behalf of Councilwoman Tracy Arnold.
Councilmember Arnold?
Hello.
Or, hi, Mr. Jackson.
Hi.
Mr.
I'm
Jackson.
sorry.
So, yes, I wanted to provide an update on the Keep College Park Beautiful appointees. We have not made any payments to the appointees. I think there was some confusion regarding which department was supposed to initiate these payments.
So I would imagine that it would have come out of the Keep College Park Beautiful budget, right?
That's in College Park, Keep College Park Beautiful does not have a budget on its own. They are part of sanitation.
Okay.
So that will have to come from sanitation. And I discussed this with Francis Kennedy.
Right.
Together with Cedric. And whatever the staffing is need to come from sanitation. Keep
Okay.
College, they don't have a budget of their own.
So when can we get the payments out? I mean, we promised we voted on this in June, right? And then after finding out that they weren't getting their payments since July of last year, the beginning of the fiscal year, I brought it up in January, and we still haven't paid. So can we expedite payments to these citizens who have been dedicating their time and energy to helping the city?
That should be no problem. I discussed that with Francis, I believe a week or so ago. That should be no problem, man. No,
Okay.
No, and I think that's.
Yes.
But I just had a couple of individuals that are on the committee that have been asking. And so if we can get that taken care of within the next couple of weeks.
Yes, definitely.
yeah.
We can start processing those payments this week, definitely.
Okay.
And this is for the 2020, for the year 2024, because we don't give the stipends until the end of the year. So they would get their stipend. So basically, we must be talking about persons who did not get their stipend for 2024, because they won't get their 2025 stipend until December. That's how we pay the stipends for the different board members.
Based upon the minutes from the January meeting, I believe it was approved for stipends from June of 2024 through January of 2025.
July of 2024 through December of 2024. We haven't given them anything.
Okay, yeah.
So they're looking at least 6 months of,
Exactly.
6 months of stipend for 2024. I just wanted to clarify, we don't do it, they get a stipend per meeting or per month or whatever it is, but they receive it at the end of the year. So there are people who should have gotten something in December, and that's why it came up in January, because they didn't get anything, and we're still waiting for them to get what they should have had in 2024.
You're correct.
Councilor Will, I talked to Ms. Kennedy about it this past week, and we'll work it out.
Okay.
That's,
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Agenda item 9, update ethics board presented by city attorney, requested on behalf of Councilwoman Tracy Arnold.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I passed out at the beginning of the meeting at the work session the process that we're undertaking to fill the members of the ethics board. As you well know, you passed an ordinance that changed our prior system where we had a single hearing officer, and we went to an ethics board, which is a more traditional format. One of the differences in the process that we enshrined in our ordinance was residency requirements, where we wanted the 5 directors to be residents of different municipalities in Fulton County. We also, out of the 5, the ordinance requires that 3 of them be licensed attorneys, and also that if they're not a licensed attorney for the other 2, that they have a background that lends itself to being on an ethics board in terms of their professional attainments, education, and experience. Also, obviously, if someone's going to serve on an ethics board, then they must be ethically beyond reproach, so we have to vet their background. We're going to have to recruit candidates, because obviously, I don't know if we're going to be able just to put out an announcement and get a whole lot of feedback. So we're going to have, I'm actively looking for individuals who meet these requirements. My goal and objective is to work with the city manager and to present nominees for your review and consideration. My goal is by the first meeting in May, so I guess I'm being recorded. So if I don't meet that time frame, I'm sure Councilwoman Arnold will hold my feet to the fire.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right. So it is 8:05 right now. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and we will start the regular meeting at 8:15.